the Return of Travel Explained Summit.
With COVID concerns, travelers are gravitating to smaller island destinations such as Ireland and coastal ones too, like Spain. We now welcome Barbara COUTO, the director of the Tourist Office of Spain in Canada. Barbara has spent most of her professional career working for the Spanish Tourist Board in Europe and now in Canada. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. So my first question for you is Spain ready to welcome Canadian tourists?
Yes, of course. Spain is totally ready to welcome tourists. In fact, Spain is one of the most visited countries in the world, and that's not only for the weather, the culture, or the nature, just to name a few reasons, but also for the quality of the tourist industry, or the hospitality industry, and they are totally ready to receive tourists. All the safety protocols are in place. In fact, from the beginning of the pandemic, the Ministry of Tourism has worked very closely with the Ministry of Health, and they have created very strict guidelines for every subsector of the tourist industries. Also, you must consider that Spain is a top European destination with one of the highest rates of population that is totally vaccinated. Okay. As for today, we are at 73% of the population. And furthermore, we were talking before about insurance, and several regions in Spain are offering free insurance with COVID-19 coverage for international travelers and tourists.
So there's some places
in some regions in Spain, they are offering free insurance.
Okay,
yes.
That's good to know. So in some regions in Spain, they're offering free insurance, which includes COVID. So we know that each country has their own COVID protocols. And so if I was looking to visit Spain, is there an official website or somewhere where I could visit to learn more about the safety protocols that are in place?
Yes, because it's hard to be updated nowadays with all the requirements and a little bit overwhelming sometimes. Yes, in Spain we have created the Travel Safe website. Okay. It's a microsite that is in our website, travelsafe.spain.info. And there is a tool, which is a map, which is very complete and is completely updated every time. And depending on which country you are traveling from, you will find the requirements that you need to comply with. And also you can find the general measures for traveling in Spain, some tips for safe travel, and the limitations in the regions in case there are any. And right now, Canadians are welcome, and the only requirement is to complete a health form that you can find in the Spain Travel Health website, and also in an app that you can download, like the Canadian app as well. And for general information, you can always visit our website, spain.info, and of course, contact with the office, because we will be glad to help.
That's good, because travel is different now. We need to do a little bit more research before we go to a country. So it's lovely to see that there's so many tools and resources that are out for people who are looking to visit Spain. So with this new normal in the world, what does travel in Spain look like? What kind of trends are you seeing in terms of the traveler who's coming to Spain?
Yes, in fact, Sandra was before talking about sustainability, and I totally agree with her. I think people are looking for sustainable options for ecotourism and social conscious travel. And for Spain, sustainability is also very important. In fact, we have a sustainable tourist strategy, which is focused on destinations. And we are working on all the aspects of the sustainability, social, economic, and of course, environmental. And when I say that it's focused on destination, I mean that the objective is to improve the touristic destinations, to create more offer on the regions that don't have of touristic offer, to create more jobs on those areas, to fight against climate change, and to decrease the pressure on the most visited places. But sustainability is not new to Spain. In fact, over a quarter of the territory is dedicated to the preservation of nature. We have 15 national parks, and not many people know about that, but we are the country with the most biosphere reserve of the world. And also we are second in geoparks. That means that there is a lot of opportunities for outdoor activities like biking, hiking. You can also dive in perfect beaches or just relax in the nature.
So you've talked about sustainability and outdoor activities. So I know that hiking in Spain is amazing. So can you tell me about the Camino? What is the Camino?
Yes, the Way of St. James, the Camino. Yes, this is a very ancient route. It's a pilgrimage route that ends in the city of Santiago de Compostela. And this year is very special because it's a Jacobeo Holy Year that for the first time in history is going to be extended over 2 years. So it will be in 2022. That's because of the pandemic. And when it's a Jacobeo Holy Year, there is a lot of cultural activities all along the way. So you can find exhibitions, you can find educational activities, projections, and a lot of activities. So no matter what is your reason to do in the Camino, you will find something to do. And there is a lot of reasons for doing the way, because some people do it for spiritual reasons, but some people do it for hiking or just to discover culture. Also, it's important to know that there are several routes. In fact, we talk about the way, which is normally the people understand the way, the French route, but there are also another options. You can find the northern route, the Portuguese one, the English one. We have a lot of routes. Yes, and there's a lot of reasons for doing the way.
And do you have any tips for people who are embarking on going hiking in Spain in terms of safety or anything like that?
Yes, well, in terms of safety, there's not much to consider. You must maybe plan ahead. Right. In terms, be prepared, train before, know what do you have to pack. You don't have to extend much weight to be able to do all the way. Right. And in terms of weather, the best time for doing it is from spring to the fall. Okay. But July and August are the months with more people doing the Camino, so are the busiest months. Okay,
so the summer is the busiest, which makes sense. So can you tell me a little bit about the culture and the history of Spain?
Yes, so many civilizations have lived in Spain through the years, so that means that they have left a lot of heritage. We have examples of Gothic, Romanesque, Roman art. And there are some itineraries that you can follow to discover this heritage. For instance, if you are interested in Roman art, you can do the Silver Route, which was an ancient corridor used by Romans for trade. And it goes from southern to northern Spain through the west of the country. And there you can find multiple examples of Roman art, like aqueducts, theaters, and others. And also, if you are interested in culture, you can visit one of the 15 World Heritage Cities that there are in Spain, or all of them, if you have the time. There are examples of different periods, but I like to recommend always to organize the trip from Madrid, because there you can visit 4 of them that are within an hour from the capital. And yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about art. So you did mention art, and I'm a bit of an art junkie. So is Barcelona the place to visit if I want to immerse myself in Spanish art?
Well, without a doubt, Barcelona is a very contemporary and a very trendy city. And if, for example, you're interested in music, there are a lot of options in Barcelona. There are open-air venues and also some smaller venues where you can enjoy local artists. There is an international jazz festival. And if you like opera and classical music, you can always visit the Palace of the Catalan Music, which is, they have always a great program. And it's also a modernist building. So speaking of which, Barcelona is a great destination if you love architecture, because you can discover the modernist buildings that were built mostly by Gaudí architects. So, for example, the Sagrada Familia, which is the cathedral, which is still not finished. And you can discover as well the Park Güell, which has amazing views of Barcelona. But Barcelona has also a very full cultural agenda. There is always something to do or to visit in Barcelona. It will amaze you every time you go. You will discover always something different there.
So that sounds amazing. In terms of the views and being able to experience everything, what is the weather like? Because you said it's best to go between the spring and fall. So what is the weather like?
That will be for the Camino. In fact, Spain has a Mediterranean climate, which means that have a mild climate all along the year. It has still its seasonal contrast, so winters can be cold, especially inland, like in Madrid. Not Canadian cold, but still cold. But the Mediterranean coast is warmer all the year. And for example, Malaga is a great destination for winter. Malaga is in the Mediterranean coast in Andalusia, with south. Yeah, you can do even long stays there because, well, in Malaga, I have been in the beach eating in November, having lunch in November without a jacket, so it's great. And they have invested a lot in make Malaga a great cultural destinations. So they have museums like the Pompidou, the Russian Museum, so you will find something to do always there.
So you've talked about so many different destinations. What is a must-see place that should be on your bucket list if you're going to visit Spain?
So it really depends on your interest, because Spain is a very diverse country, but I have to choose. Most people associate the idea of Spain with Andalusia, because the weather, because it's where flamenco was born. Also, they have great examples of Islamic art. There are amazing cities like Sevilla, Córdoba that are absolutely a must-see. In Granada, there is this great example of Islamic art, which is the Alhambra Palace. I will say that only to see that is worth the travel. And because I'm from Madrid, I must speak also of Madrid if you're interested in art. Madrid has what we call the Triangle of Art, which are three major museums: Prado Museum, which have incredible examples of Velázquez, Goya, Rembrandt. You have the Reina Sofia, where you can see the Picasso's Guernica and the Thyssen. And all the three buildings are in the Paseo del Prado, which is the latest addition to the World Heritage List for UNESCO, because over there's the three-lined avenue. Over the years, during the Enlightenment period, they built a lot of buildings for science and art. So this is the last addition for the World Heritage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so Spain is really known and recognized worldwide for the rich cuisine and the food. So my next question is a two-part. First, what is your favorite Spanish food? And second, what role does food play for foodies who are traveling?
Well, it's complicated to choose. If I have to choose one, I want to choose the tortilla, probably. Okay. It's easy to do, you can, everybody likes tortilla.
Yes.
And for travelers, it's more and more important. And what I like in Spain is that it's very diverse, so you can enjoy the traditional dishes like tortilla or paella, and the cuisine is different in every region, so you can enjoy really the difference between the different regions. And also in Spain, there is a lot of creativity. So that reflects also on cooking. So if you are more into innovation and in Michelin-star restaurants, you have a lot of examples there to choose. You have the Roca Brothers, the chef David Muñoz. We have really a lot of top chefs. And this innovation you can discover also in the tapas bar, in a simple tapas bar. Of course, the traditional local ways, but tapas is a very special way in Spain to eat food. It's very convivial and to enjoy with friends, and that's very unique to us.
I do love a good tapas bar.
Yeah.
Just try a little bit of everything and don't get too full. Are there any signature drinks from Spain?
Well, wine is important in Spain, and you can discover a lot of wineries in the north, but all over the country, in fact. And in the wineries, you can do also a lot of outdoor activities like horseback riding, hiking in the wineries, and of course, the tasting. And a product that I like to recommend is wine and architecture, because a lot of wineries have invested in building amazing wineries in their land. For instance, you can discover in El Ciego a building from Frank Gehry, who created a great winery there.
I didn't know that about Spain. So there's wineries, and when you said horseback riding and wineries, you've sold me. Those are two of my favorite things. So before I go to Spain, could you teach me a few words that would help me to interact with some of the Spanish locals?
Of course. If you want to say hello, it will be hola.
Hola.
Thank you, gracias.
Gracias.
And please, por favor.
Por favor.
Yes.
And how about where is the bathroom?
¿Dónde está el baño?
¿Dónde está el baño?
Very well.
And then what else would I need to know? Coffee with cream?
Café con leche?
Café con leche.
Yes, and it's very typical to have café con leche in Spain, in fact.
Yeah, café con leche is probably one of my favorite drinks. So is there any last minute tips or tricks? So if I'm planning a trip to Spain, what should I absolutely know? What should I absolutely prepare for?
So the most important thing right now, I think, is to keep updated, to check the websites before you go, to prepare all the documents that you have. Yes, and as I said, you can always contact the office to have more information.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Barbara. Or should I say gracias?
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.